it's Friday. Not that that really means much because, we can't really do anything anyways, but Saturday and Sunday, there's no work to do, so I'm excited. All right, we're going to talk about dividing rational expressions today. And most of the time, you're going to have to rationalize the denominator to be able to simplify. So you have tons of success criteria that you can go back and look at or write down so that you just have in front of you. We're going to work in your Springboard book on page 309 today. And then I have some examples from IXL that I'm going to do with you too. All right, so here's your meme of the day. Bugles, edibles, finger swords. I totally remember Peyton Hollingsworth doing this, and it's hilarious, and thank you for making me smile. All right, so on page 309, we're going to start with example B. I am not going to go over these. You can look at these yourself, but I am going to do some examples with you. All right, so here's our first problem here. So as you can see, 4 does not divide by 5, so we're just going to leave that 4 over 5. 42, however, does divide by 6. 42 divided by 6 is radical 7. And that's your answer. It's really that simple. Same exact thing over here. So 10 and 2 give you 5. 54 divided by radical 2 gives you radical 27. Now, we should know by now that 27 can be simplified. Square root of 27 can be simplified into 5 times the square root of 9 times 3, which is then 5 times 3 square root of 3, which gives us our final answer of 15 square root of 3. So this should be pretty basic problems. Shouldn't really have any problems with those. All right, so this is example C on that same page. So again, 12 divided by 3 does give us that 4. And 75 divided by 3 gives us the square root of 25, which we know is 4 times 5, which is 20. That's a real pretty problem there. All right, so example C. This is really important. This is how you rationalize the denominator. Okay, to simplify problems, and I'm going to do a bunch of these with you, but this is your example that you can go back to. All right, here we go. So we're going to start with 11 does not divide by 6 nicely, so we have to rationalize the denominator. So that means square root of 11 over square root of 6, the original problem, times the denominator. So square root of 6 over square root of 6. So we're multiplying by the denominator. Then we can just multiply straight across since it's radical under radical. So it's square root of 66 over square root of 36. This is the important part. When you rationalize your denominator, you want it to turn out as a perfect square. So if you're doing these and your number, when rationalizing the denominator, doesn't end up being a perfect square root, you need to go back and look at it again. All right, so this gives us our final answer of square root of 66 over 6. This cannot be simplified anymore because you can't divide a radical number by an integer. Okay, next problem here. 7 and 5 cannot be divided nicely, so we have to rationalize our denominator again. So rewrite, multiply by the denominator on both, or I guess both sides, up and down though. And then we'll do 2 square root of 35. So we multiply 7 and 5. And then square root of 25. There's that perfect square again that I want. So our answer ends up being 2 square root of 35 over 5. And again, that's all that can be done. Okay, let's do our last problem here. So 3 square root of 5 over square root of 8. So our square roots don't divide nicely, so we have to rationalize. Okay, so this is 3 square root of 40 over square root of 64. Okay, you should know by now that 40 has some nice stuff to take out of. So we have 3 times the square root of 4 times 10 over 8, which then gives us 3 times 2 square root of 10 over 8, which gives us a final answer of 6 square root of 10 over 8. Well, no, that's not the end. We can simplify more. This 6 and this 8, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to make that look like 16 and 18. The 6 and the 8 are both divisible by 2. So our final answer then would be 3 square root of 10 over 4. Okay, so I divided both of these by 2 to simplify it. Okay, so that's it for this page. Alrighty, so now we are actually moving on to your IXL assignments. Sorry, you see me flipping through like a crazy person here. All right, here we go. So these are the ones that you're going to start out with on IXL. So as you can see, there's not a radical up top for me to divide anything by. So we're going to go ahead and just start by rationalizing. So we're going to do times 6 plus. So I realize this is a minus right here. But when we're rationalizing, you have to change it to the opposite. So that will be, hold on, let's see. So times 6 plus the square root of 5 over 6 plus the square root of 5. Again, I know it says minus here, but when we're rationalizing, it needs to be, instead of minus, it'll be plus. Instead of plus, it'll be minus, so on and so forth. All right, so now we have to kind of distribute this negative 5 in our numerator. So it's going to go to here, and it's going to go to here. So negative 5 times 6 gives you negative 30. And negative 5 times radical 5 is, sorry, that shouldn't be would be negative 5 square root of 5. Okay, so it's negative because a negative times a positive is a negative. All right, 6 times 6 is 36. Negative square root of 5 times positive square root of 5 is negative square root of 25. All right, from there we just simplify. So this doesn't simplify any right now at least, so we're going to leave it. Over 36 minus, this is actually 5, so 36 minus 5 is 31. There's nothing nice that you can pull out of this, guys, so that's literally your answer that you'll type in. These are a lot messier than what I would like, but, you know, it's what we're working with, and you guys have been doing amazing. All right, here we go. So times negative 8, sorry, my pen isn't wanting to work, negative 8 plus the square root of 5 over negative 8 plus the square root of 5. All right, so again, that has to multiply by each, and then this multiplies by each. So we have negative 72 plus 9 square root of 5 all over negative 64 minus square root of 25. All right, so let's continue on here. So square root, or negative 64 minus the square root of 25. Remember, that's a 5. So that gives us negative 69 over negative 72 plus 9 square root of 5. Okay, all of these numbers here, 72, 9, and 69, can all be divided by 3. So you don't have to include the radical in that one. So this ends up being negative 24 plus 3 square root of 5 over negative 23. And that would be your answer to that problem. Looks a lot messier than what we started with, which is crazy, but it's right, I promise you. All right, here's a couple more problems here for us. So again, you can't do anything to simplify this until we rationalize our denominator. So it's plus instead of a minus. Okay, so let's go ahead and multiply. So we have negative 12 minus 3 square root of 10. And then we'll multiply the denominator, 16, minus the square root of 100. Okay, so we're going to leave this alone, our numerator. And then 16 minus, we should know that this is 10, gives us 6. So again, kind of like that last problem that we did, negative 12, negative 3, and 6 can all be divided. So we're going to, so negative 12 divided by 6 is negative 2. Negative 3 divided by 6 is negative 1/2. And then we just have radical 10. And that's our answer. It looks very weird. I promise it'll be correct though, so watch out for those. Okay, let's do our other problem on this page. So again, we're going to multiply by the denominator. So negative 2 minus square root of 6, since it's a plus. Negative 2 minus square root of 6. So 6 times negative 2 is negative 12. 6 times negative square root of 6. And then negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. And 6 times negative square root of 6 is negative square root of 36. Okay? So we can go ahead and simplify this. So square root of 12 minus 6 square root of 6 over 4 minus 6, which is negative 2. All right, so again, we have a bunch of pretty stuff that will all divide by 2. So when we do that, we get negative 12 divided by negative 2 is 6. Negative 6 divided by negative 2 is positive 3. And we still have that square root of 6. Again, we're done. So it's not too bad. Just make sure you write stuff down. I know a lot of you have been trying to do it without writing stuff down, and you've been running into a lot of problems. So please, please, please write your stuff down. All right, last problem here that I'm going to do with you. So this time it's different because we have a radical on the top and we haven't seen that before. So, sorry guys. All right, so we're going to go ahead and, we're going to multiply by the denominator. So negative 5 plus square root of 3. Negative 5 plus square root of 3. All right, so negative 6 is going to square root of 6 is going to multiply by both of these. So this first one is just negative 5 square root of 6 since we can't actually multiply underneath that radical. And then 6 times 3 is positive square root of 18. So that one we could because they were both radical. All right. So then the bottom becomes 25 minus the square root of 9. All right. So from there, let's move down here. So now we have negative 5 square root of 6 plus the square root of 9 times 2. That's that 18 up there. And then 25 minus 3 is 22. Okay, we're almost done with this problem. So our next step here is to finish out this second radical on our numerator. So we have negative 5 radical 6 plus 3 radical 2 all over 22. And that's our final product there. Whew. All right, so today you watched the lesson I made for you. You are then going to watch this video down here on YouTube. Then you are going to work on these. And if you get more than 3 questions wrong in a row, contact me between 8 and 3 p.m. If you need me after 3, shoot me a message. I'll be there. I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And I will see you on Monday again. Love you. Bye.